mad because you had a really bad Mount Rushmore #1, and you tried to put it on me all day.
I know you is not talking to me.
To put it on me
I know you are
on
not
that.
talking to me
Because
you don't even put up
decided.
my real. You don't even put up my real list. This not even my list.
Of saying
We got
a match that has not happened.
The receipts doesn't matter. It's my Mount Rushmore. It's my Mount Rushmore.
I would have done that. You wouldn't have got the 20+%.
As a human species before next Sunday. That is my #1 match.
You would have been sitting here looking at 8% again of votes, and not the 20+% that you got.
I swear.
So I actually did you a favor.
I know you did do me a favor. Because like I said, you could have told me. You could have said straight up, "Hey, I'm not putting that on your list." What else did you want to put on here? That's what you could have did. I sent you my list. I told it on the pod, and I sent it to you
and the match
via text message. Y'all always like to throw stuff out that we talk about in the text message, but you didn't want to put that out in the text message. That I did. I sent to you.
That is like saying before Wemby got drafted to the San Antonio Spurs last year, we're going to put him on the Mount Rushmore of NBA players. He ain't played a second in NBA ball. That's the same thing you did, Rhodesia.
But it was my Rhodesia's Mount Rushmore. So if it's Rhodesia's Mount Rushmore, then put my real 4 matches. Yeah, that's how I feel about you when you posted that bullcrap list of mine.
You said bullcrap list, and it was the exact same list.
It was not the same list.
All people gotta do is go back and listen.
Oh my god!
All you gotta do, go back and listen.
Let's start the show.
Your Mount Rushmore has 3 heads and not 4. I was trying to do you a favor.
That's fine. I would rather have taken my 3. I would rather have taken my 3.
I can't wait to hear your overall list today. You're going to be like, and from WrestleMania 45, it's going to be CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. That is one of my top matches of all time for WrestleMania. And then WrestleMania 52, get this one, guys, Braun Breaker versus Tiffany Stratton, the first ever male versus female WrestleMania match. Oh, I see it already. And for my third, WrestleMania
I don't even sound
68.
like that. I don't even sound like
that. It is the Usos' sons, the Usiest of the Usos. Get the hell out of here, Rhodesia. Episode 119 of the TFW podcast. That's Freakin Wrestling. Y'all know who we are. Y'all know what we do. I am your host, Matt, joined by my co-host, Eshaun, and Rhodesia. Don't know why in the hell he's over there pushing buttons on the soundboard, knowing damn well the soundboard is not going to work. So y'all going to hear them damn sound effects 5 minutes from now. Seriously, I don't know why he's over there pushing buttons. He's probably because he feels a little left out. Eshaun,
I think we've found out that it's the Chicago internet.
No, it's not. You keep saying that
because like when you're like the rich people don't really have good internet. That's part of the problem.
What's wrong with this guy?
Like the richer you are, the worse your internet is because you guys are so far away from like where the centralized like system is. That's the problem. Y'all too rich for your own good.
Diddy got the worst internet in the world. Somebody should put him on game that he was about to get rated.
Allegedly,
he had no idea. Allegedly, they're saying he had no idea that he was getting rated.
Because he didn't get the signal. He was too far from the centralized.
He's in trouble, man. That's a whole nother podcast, but I just hope anybody who does anything bad gets what's coming to him. Mm-hmm. And I'll leave it at that. Right? We've done 118 of these. These is gonna be 119. Maybe the best. What we do. Oh my goodness. Y'all. I'm on a wrestling high. Monday night, because we're Central Time, 10 o'clock hits. And I'm sitting here tweeting away, texting away. How am I supposed to go to sleep? How am I supposed to clear my mind and do what I need to do come Tuesday morning after that incredible show WWE gave us? And I'll tell you what, if you are not a WWE fan, I don't know how you will be listening to this pod if you're not. Shout out to y'all. Love y'all to death. Y'all know that already. But if you're not, go ahead and just skip this one. We'll see you on Sunday for episode 120. Because I am going to go all out as a WWE Avenger. As a Paul Levesque Avenger. After the show WWE gave us this past Monday on Monday Night Raw. Eshaun and Rhodesia, we got to get into this. And like we could do the low-hanging fruit of asking, where does this show rank in the last few years? Or is this the best Raw show ever? And have that kind of conversation. I haven't even thought about a question to ask you guys. I don't know if you guys have questions or not of how you want to look at it. But I just want to talk about this show. That show was incredible. And we didn't go. That's another story I'll tell in a few minutes. Tell me what y'all thought about Monday Night Raw this past Monday from Chicago.
Well, I thought it was a great show. Great show indeed.
What incredible breakdown by Eshaun. Boy, I don't know what we'd do without that breakdown. All right, Rhodesia, you got a hard act to follow.
I wasn't ready.
How was that show?
But I guess I could do anything better than that. Let me gather my thoughts here. Okay, where we going? Like, can I just start anywhere? Can I just like
you can go? That's how good that show was.
Okay,
there could be. I honestly counted. There was 5 things on that show. If you said that was your favorite part of the show, I could understand. Probably was more than that, but
I had 3 solid ones. Like, but neither here nor there. I thought I had went into a whole nother dimension. Now I'm prepping dinner, watching Raw. Cody's talking. One time, Rock, not advertised for this show, and he interrupts Cody Rhodes. And the visual that I saw on my television screen. First, I've already said his new entrance was like the best thing I've ever seen. Who'd have thunk that I'd have saw something even better than that? It literally, when that little lightning bolt came down, I felt all my goosies on my arm. Like, I'm like, what in the hell did I just see? This is a masterpiece. So not only did I pop because I didn't expect to see The Rock, but then how he cut him off and how he entered and like how he walked it. Oh,
the kids say cinema. Right.
Is that
that was the big thing, especially during the whole Sami Zayn bloodline thing. Oh, this is cinema. Oh, this is cinema. I've never used it. It was cinema Monday night. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I had a chance to be at this show. And my dumb ass is sitting on my couch, watching the television and not being in the building for Dwayne's return to Chicago. Oh, man, I was heated. And I'm still not over it. I still probably need a little bit of counseling for missing this one. I can't remember the last televised WWE show we've missed. And hell, outside of the last time AEW was here, we hadn't missed any televised AEW shows in the Chicago market or Detroit. But I heard there was a word about him being at that show. On Sunday, somebody on social media had posted an alleged email that came from WWE to some type of company in Chicago stating that they needed a Bronco truck for a ride-up shot with The Rock driving. No physicality on the truck, no damage with the truck. They just needed the one shot. If you can help, please reach out to us. And when I saw it, the email looked real. But I was like, man, like The Rock unadvertised, and they've advertised him for New York the next week with Roman. I'm like, no way. They already got Punk. And we know that's going to be combustible. They've already announced, everything else. I'm like, man, they're not going to have The Rock. And when Cody's out there cutting his promo and that music hit, I never thought I could go so high and then go so low immediately after.
But why, Matt? So you guys, super uber wrestling fans, super uber wrestling couple, any show that comes into the suburban Chicago area, girl, get your purse. Impact, go and get your purse. AEW, girl, get your purse. Warrior, go and get your purse. Kalamazoo Wrestling, girl, get your purse. But here we are. It's a Raw 2 weeks before Mania.
2 weeks.
And y'all put the purse down and pick up the remote? God damn it, what happened?
Exactly.
I threw something. Did y'all hear that?
I did, and I appreciate it.
What happened?
Awesome. That was almost my reenactment Monday night. I don't know what happened.
Well, 1, work. 2,
I don't hear about that.
They ain't never stopped me before.
Quit.
Well, it would stop me. Quit. Oh my God.
You felt that too.
2, we talking about minimal $185 a pop a seat times 3. Especially because Rock wasn't advertised.
I do not want to hear rich folks talk about ticket prices.
And then Ticketmaster, they punk ass service charges. That's almost damn near as much as the actual ticket itself. You probably legit. You've been talking over $200 a ticket, which that wouldn't have made sense. But that did hurt to know that I missed out on just that moment. They gave. All right, so let me ask you, E. You came and you just said, "Hey, it was a good show," and then you kind of stopped. where would you rank that show? Not like a legit rank, like, oh man, it was top 5 of all time, or like, but watching it, did you feel it was as good as how it's universally being touted?
You know what? I think I've said it, but a lot of times I can't do that with shows. I know in the moment I enjoyed it. Okay. I enjoyed it thoroughly, so much so actually, as I was watching the show, I just couldn't really keep my eyes off of it, and I just kept watching it, and the time just flew by. Like it's a 3-hour show. I didn't feel like it was a 3-hour show. I was entertained. I had a smile on my face. I don't know if I popped specifically on any moment. I might have been tired, but for a person who came into watching a 3-hour show, will probably like talk about energy. I probably like on a 2. I mean, I stayed watching the entire show. Normally, I will fall asleep, not out of boredom, but because I'm just tired. But the show just kept my attention the entire time. But when we talk about like rating show, I have a hard time with that. I mean, I don't remember what I did yesterday, the day before, a week later. Like, so I can't really rate these shows. I mean, because you think about it, we get Monday Night Raw every single Monday, year in and year out, consistently every year, right? When we talk about wrestling, I gave Boo Boo Vince, crap for years. I'm gonna continue because he was just terrible. But these guys have to do this every single week with no break, no off days, and the consistency that they put out there is pretty amazing. But yeah, it was a great show, man. I mean, but you think about WWE and their roster, and another conversation might be like, let's rank this roster in comparisons to history, right? Because you got some guys out there that can talk and they can captivate an audience. You got Drew McIntyre right now, one of the hottest acts out there right now. CM Punk came out there, and he was like kind of on another level than he's been in a while. I thought, I don't know. I don't say he's been in cruise control since he's been back, but he definitely brought the energy. Seth is definitely an engaging character, and of course, when you can add The Rock to the show. I mean, they got the cheat code.
So let's do it in just that way you just talked it. All right, so let's start Rock and Cody, and then we can go into Seth, Punk, and Drew, because you haven't been hype on Punk, where I have. I thought, Punk had that one poor promo, his second promo, and then he came back and completely redeemed himself. Then him and Drew had their face-to-face where he gave Drew some. But I've been on the Punk bandwagon. He was in rare form Monday night. We'll talk about that, but we got to start with the end of Monday Night Raw. And watching that show, it's like, this is the best WWE has been in a very long time. I'm not ready to go out on a limb yet and say, like, already it is beating the Attitude Era. It is beating that time period. We know the business is as hot as it was and it's ever been. So we can talk, if we want to talk about the business perspective, yes, it's better than the Attitude Era. But if we're talking about sitting there and how I feel after watching a show, to your point, it's a 3-hour episode, and I'm sitting there, like I said, Central Time, 10:05, and I'm like, what's next? And yes, that I've been known to do that on PLEs. I've been known to do that on pay-per-views. Monday Night Raw shows that go 3 hours, nah. When AEW does a 3-hour block, nah. I'm okay. I got my fill. It was good. I was entertained, but I'm ready to move on. I wasn't ready to move on after seeing Cody and The Rock, and it was because this is what we have always wanted. I gave my little tirade on the last show about imagine being a tribalistic fan. We missed out on Edge and Christian. Imagine being a tribalistic fan and we missed out on what we saw last night with The Rock, with Cody, with Punk, Drew, Seth, and all that kind of stuff. Let's talk about the end of that show. Rock whispers something into Cody's ear. My assumption now is something about, I'm going to get you later on tonight or something, because for Cody to say it's a promise he can't keep. At first I was like, okay, are they going to try to do this stupid ass cahoots thing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
that's
that just
what I
doesn't
thought
make
at that
sense,
moment.
right? I was like, that won't make sense. They didn't. And I love all of our consumers of our product. If you are a YouTube watcher, shout out to you guys. The haters, the lovers. If you follow us on X, if you listen to us every single week, but you never comment or never send us anything, I love everybody. There was somebody on YouTube earlier today, I put up the clip of our WrestleMania 40 predictions. And somebody on there, even after Raw, still thinks that Cody and The Rock are in cahoots. And The Rock is going to turn on Roman night 2 of WrestleMania and align himself with Cody.
Hell, that's better than...
that person, did they watch Raw? And I think he said yeah, but I don't know how. If you think that. We saw blood. We saw planned literal blood on WWE TV. We had CM Punk talking about giving AJ oral sex.
Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, boo-boo.
I was in heaven. I was in heaven on that. I was like, okay, what kind of show we got going here? But back to Rock and Cody.
Our kind of show.
Damn right.
I think Punk's definitely back to my number one wrestler of all time.
Was it by any chance did y'all think it was too much? I saw that going around on social media too. It was too much. It was the reason why everybody thought it was so great was because it was an AEW type Raw show. I'm not getting to that tribalistic part. I just wanted to say that was what I saw out there. But by any chance, did you guys feel like the cursing from Rock, where Rock says this is what happens when you fuck with the final boss, and that crowd went crazy? I know you can't, even though the show after Raw, I don't know what show that is, but they dropped so many fucks and shits and bitch. Like, I'm like, okay, well, we can do it at 11:02 Eastern, but we can't do it at 10:55 Eastern. All right, but any chance by you guys think it was too much?
Too much, no. If I was a Cody fan, I probably would have said yes, just at the end. Because I remember we was looking at the time and I'm like, are we caught up? Like, are we live? He's like, yeah. And we still had like 8 minutes to go. And that was at the very beginning of when they started bringing it, before Rock did that run in again, that final
What happened like 8 minutes, when there was 8 minutes left? Like, what happened on the show?
Wasn't it when they just first started going into solo jump somebody? I forgot because I was half asleep. So I woke up and they were in a
match. Told y'all we need to have a conversation about Shinsuke.
Oh, Jay and Shinsuke.
And E was like, hey, man, Shinsuke, he all right. He's just, he's the middle of the road kind of heel right now. To me, there's just nothing there with Shinsuke. And I hate to see that because I think he never got his proper run. But just watching him, I'm just like, man, there's not much to it.
What you trying to say, man? What, you want him to fire him?
Oh, no. Just get away from the, don't be in that third hour.
Well, okay. Well, first off,
don't be in that third hour. I don't care who you're going against. You are a fantastic opening match performer now, or somewhere in the middle of that hour 2. You got to stay away from that hour 3.
All I know is when I saw that same promo, I was like, I don't believe you, Shinsuke, and I went to sleep. So that's why I don't remember that final match. But I'm like, no, it's the same. It is, and I love Shinsuke. But it is literally the same. Insert, take out the person that you about to fight.
Take out
insert
Seth
their
Rollins,
name.
Take out Cody Rhodes, and now you just move on to Jey Uso.
He went to Sammy, then he went to Jay. I'm like, we going with the same thing?
Seth Rollins.
Well, that man got to cut a promo. What you want him not to do? Y'all want this man. Look, y'all want this man. Y'all want this man to be after the break in the ring. No music guy. That's what y'all want. Y'all want him to be. Yes. That's what y'all want this man to be. Like, then we gonna be advocating fire Shinsuke. That's what we gonna be talking about. This is horrible. But actually, I got a little bit of a flip because, again, I actually enjoyed the show very thoroughly. But the intensity between The Rock and Cody, he's supposed to be the final boss, but he's not. Night 2 is Roman and it's Cody finishing his story, and the intensity will make a lot more sense if it, like night 1, it was if Cody versus Rock, and the winner gets a shot at Roman, right? Was the intensity, like, right? Because like now, like all the attention is kind of on a Cody versus Rock. I actually rather see that singles match before I see the night 2 match with Roman.
So you're saying it was too intense?
It is, especially considering that, the actual story is Cody and Roman. Like, we're not going to get that. So what is Cody going to get next week? Is Cody going to get ass whoop? No, even better by Roman, right? To get some more heat on Roman, because the heat is all on Rock. And Rock is just in a tag team match on night one for a stipulation for what is supposed to be the quote unquote the main event for the entire weekend, which is Cody and Roman. So, I mean, I didn't necessarily have a problem with it in the sense that, you know, it was too much. I'm just like, man, this is a lot of attention on,
right, I got that. Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so let's,
we're not going to see those two together.
So let's do this. Let's talk about that. Because that is a very valid point. Now, if I wanted to play devil's advocate, I could say, well, the reason that's happening is because Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes has been there, done that. I said it a couple months ago on this podcast when we were talking about stories. And I said, if we wanted to get to brass tacks, there is no story between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. The story is Cody Rhodes winning the championship belt that Roman Reigns is holding. But there is no story between Roman Reigns, the character in person, and Cody Rhodes, the character in person. So if we take it for face value, they've had this match last year. They did all their talking last year. Roman Reigns won because Solo helped him out. And then they are separate, away from each other, different brands, different TV shows, different nights of the week, until the first time they come face to face when it was Cody and Jay, and it was Roman and Jimmy and Solo and that SmackDown show a few months ago. And then we get the point at the Royal Rumble, and that's it. So if you take Roman's verbiage from last SmackDown, where he's like, you've said all this already. Like, we've done this already. We've been there before. Then if you wanted to kind of manipulate to say that's why there's so much stock into Rock and Cody, cool. I'll tell you what I was hoping for. Man, I was so hoping Roman was there last night. And what I was hoping for was when they had that shot outside, which was just out of like Gotham, Batman. The rain.
The weather was perfect.
All of it, right? Just perfect. Cody is bleeding. He's by his bus. What I thought the finish was going to be was that door was going to open and Roman was going to come out the bus.
That's kind of cringy, though.
But not. Because I am the head of the table. I don't even need to touch you. He's not going to touch Cody. He's there, him and The Rock, and then they walk away, and that's how it goes off. That's what I was hoping, because then E wouldn't be saying what he's saying. Because what E is saying is completely valid. Like, dude, the matches, no matter what happens night one, the match is still Roman and Cody. That needs to be the main piece that we're talking about. And no matter what they do on Monday next week, we're Rock in the building, Roman's in the building, Cody's gonna be in the building, everybody's gonna be in the building. And Barclays. We still won't be standing there like, you know what, man, what I'm most excited for is Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes in night two. We're going to be talking about night one still.
You know what? I'm going to be that YouTube listener, watcher. They are in cahoots.
Oh, shit.
Yep. Just felt it right in my bones.
Felt it
right in my bones. They're in cahoots.
And what makes you feel that way?
Because of everything that y'all just said. We still 2 weeks out from it.
He made that man bleed.
Doesn't matter. Come on, he's a professional. They blade all the time. In AEW, he probably bladed every night.
I don't know, man. Like that's a big.
I'm telling you, that's my bold prediction. This is my bold prediction. My bold WrestleMania 40 prediction.
That's one of those.
You gotta get your ass whooped. But hey, I'm gonna get you this belt.
That's one of those wrestling stretches, if that were the case, right? That's just one of those things. It just wouldn't make sense in the great. Like that's the one thing I hate. Like I've never liked about wrestling is that sometimes like stuff that doesn't make sense in the real world is applied to wrestling to further something.
The wrestling logic.
Yeah, okay, I hate that because in real life, if Matt and I are in cahoots, I'm not gonna let him beat my ass and make me bleed.
But maybe
we can figure something else out. We will figure something else out. So I ain't gotta bleed.
In the back, and the cameras wasn't there. Nope. You see me stand over him with a chair, but you never see nobody touch it.
You talk about the devil story. This is the devil story done right. This is the final boss story.
Oh my God!
I'm telling you,
please don't bring up that
bold WrestleMania prediction, part 2.
Oh man, but you mentioned devil's advocate, man. I think more so the reality situation, more so than playing devil's advocate, is that Roman Reigns, due to his scheduling, and is not able to contribute to a storyline to further it, and that's the problem. It's like what you said. It'd be nice if Roman Reigns had that shot, right? But it ain't time. He couldn't be there for whatever reason, and that's been the problem all year. When you talk about like the storyline engagement between Cody and Roman, he's just not around enough to kind of be able to add to that story and further it, right? That's Cody will have to carry the entire story himself year long, and Roman Reigns would just have to weave in and out of it because he's just not simply around, which is why, for me, this is a perfect opportunity for him to transition to something else because he just can't contribute to a long storyline as currently introduced. Like Rock right now, at least when Rock's not filming a movie or doing whatever he's doing, he could pop up. He's been popping up way more than Roman Reigns, right? Now we know that Rock is probably not going to be around much longer after Mania, but at least right now he could pop up every week, every other week. We've seen way more Rock than we have Roman Reigns. So I think part of the problem is just the availability of Roman Reigns to tell stories.
Actually, I got another one.
Uh-oh.
Another reason why. Because anything like that has to get cleared through the tribal chief. By the tribal chief not being there or the tribal chief not letting it be known that it was okay for Rock to do that, I can absolutely see some dissension there that Rock got out of pocket. Call yourself the final boss or not. The tribal chief didn't issue that hit. Unless they talk about it on SmackDown.
Why would Roman have that? Why would Roman have a problem with that? You're doing my work for me.
Because the same reason over the last couple years, if somebody did something that tribal chief did not tell them to do, I think this even happened like a year ago with Jimmy or Jay, one of them maybe a little bit over a year ago. And he's like, but did I tell you to do that? Because now you messing up stuff. You thinking and I didn't tell you what to do. So if we're going back off of the logic of the tribal chief issuing those commands, if he didn't tell Rock to put the hit out on Cody, and we'll find out, I guess, maybe on this SmackDown, that could be another thing that can be that's
going to be for later on for those two. We know that eventually we're going to get to those two in fisticuffs, right? So I mean, sure, that can be another
we'll get that Mania
irritation from Roman, but as far as that having to do with being connected to Cody, I don't know.
You said something, and it kind of got me thinking more because we've been lauding them and applauding them every single week, just how invested we are in this story. Are we ready to say The Rock's performance over the last 2 months is the best thing we've gotten from the bloodline yet? Or are we not ready to say that?
I'm not ready to say that.
What I'm ready to say is you're welcome.
You were the one that started the hashtag We Want Cody?
We did it, right? We told the universe what we wanted. We wanted Cody in his rightful place, finishing the story, right? Which gave you a heel Rock. Who gave you this great TV, these beatdowns? You know, you got The Rock sound like a 80-year-old black man. You know what I'm saying? Like going everybody.
Depending on where we at. Depending on where we at. You hear that, boy?
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like this whole thing was birthed to you, right? So now everybody's getting satisfaction, right? You got the Cody fans. We gonna finally finish the story, but in the interim, we got this awesome heel Rock that we wouldn't have got. We would not have gotten this version of Rock.
No,
right? See, that's the thing. That's what I love about Jesus. Everything works out the way it's supposed to work out. Everything works out the way it's supposed to work out.
Jesus
heel Rock,
heel real into him. He would not have pivoted. He wouldn't have gave a damn. He would have stayed.
Right.
He would have stayed. But so my point
of
that is
that's right.
I think what we're seeing now, if we kind of just step back 50 feet, is Roman is the sacrificial lamb of the pivot. He is the sacrificial lamb of the pivot. If it was Rock and Roman, I am sure their story would have been fantastic. Yeah, it would have felt forced, but they would have been able to tell their stories on Raw or SmackDown, wherever they would have been, and we wouldn't have felt he was missing on the weeks he wasn't there. We're feeling it now because of what you said. The Rock is doing the heavy lifting. I think The Rock has been at he's going to be at 10 shows since he's been back, which is, man, hell, once again, bravo to that. Mm-hmm. But I think that's what we're seeing, the byproduct of the pivot for him, because really, what is it for him to do? Outside of what I said, hey, I would love for him to have been there to show, without saying it, Rhodesia, I call this hit. This was my work.
He wasn't there. So now,
outside of that, though, there's nothing for him to do on Raw. And then we talked about the SmackDown promo. You were much more about it than I was, and I was like, well, we kind of was more like been there, done that. So even when he is there, it's not really needed right now. So I think that's kind of what it is. Question about Rock and Roman. Who is higher? Is the final boss higher, or is the tribal chief higher? If you look at the pecking order.
What?
In the story that they're telling, who is higher, the final boss or the tribal chief?
I think by design, it's ambiguous right now. I don't know that answer in this story that they're telling. I don't know that. In real life, the chief would be the highest.
Well, that's the question. Roman Reigns would tell you that he's the highest, right?
Mm-hmm.
He made Rock acknowledge him.
He's only been calling himself the final boss after he acknowledged Roman.
Hey, he acknowledged him as the head of the table, the tribal chief. That doesn't mean that whatever title or position he has doesn't hold more weight than him, right? I mean, this is hopefully great storyline that can be told later on. But like I said, it's just about availability. I don't know how much time both of these men can contribute over the course of the next year to tell the story the right way, right? We might not see any follow-up on any of this for another, 8-9 months. Right? So
it was interesting. See. We were watching, and Matt made a comment, and he said, I don't know if I want Cody winning the championship. Because if he
that's my child. Oh, wow. I must have been asleep already.
Well, I think you're just a hater. He's not a hater.
Oh, okay.
You're not a hater either. And he said, because what's next?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a fantastic question. That speaks more to him just not knowing Cody's story after he finishes the story, more so than Cody's not ready, I think. We can say right now, and so what I told him, I said, okay, great. So you don't put the belt on Cody and Roman wins again. Does Roman and Rock have to be for the title? He's like, no. I said, but do you still want to see Rock and Roman if it's not for a title? He said, of course. I said, okay, so then that leads itself to putting the belt on Cody. Your question is, what feuds do we have lined up for Cody? Meaning, is he going to be still as interesting, not trying to finish his story, than when he has the belt? That is out for debate until we get to that point. Right? Okay, so say if Orton's first, because we're going to assume he's going to go to SmackDown, because that's that belt, unless they flip-flop him and Seth. I do think that's a little bit of a drop. I think it'd be a great, because they got so much history. But okay, you got Orton, and then if you do a flip, do you have Gunther drop Dicey, and then it's Gunther? I'm sure they have this all set for Cody, that, hey, if we take the belt off Cody, here's his next 6-month run or 6-month fuse. So, after I said that, he was like, yeah, you're right. I was like, yeah, it's not. I don't think it's about Cody. I think it's just about, are they doing him right? Are they going to do him right? And I think they are, man. Drew did an interview, and he made a comment about this is the first time in WWE since, I think he said in 1999 or 2000, where everybody's important. Everybody has something. And it's so funny because they didn't get an influx of talent. Right? It's not like they pulled an AEW where they went and got all the hottest guys off the indies and revamped, or they called everybody up from NXT. This is basically the nucleus of who's been there for the last few years. And we're able to get this type of incredible content weekly. And Vince had it at his disposal, and we were getting rematch after rematch, 50-50 booking, pushes for people that didn't make sense, horrible gimmicks, trash storylines. It's just, it's a great, great time to be a WWE fan. Some of that I saw too.
You know what, Matt, right before you move from that, I've been seeing a lot of that because, you get the people who are against Cody and they'll say, like, once he finishes his story, then what? And I will say, as a Cody fan who's been watching him, what has he really been doing until we got to Royal Rumble season? Right? Like, what story was he really?
He was in a holding pattern.
Well, he had Brock, right? But outside of Brock,
SummerSlam was what? That was a long time ago for us, right? And he still held his popularity. He still came out to some of the biggest pops, right? He still was helping sell out the shows because people are invested in Cody. So when we talk about, like, then what, like, for him, then what is like, what's next for him, right? Because historically, once somebody gets to the mountaintop, it's like, all right, what's the next mountain to climb, right? Is it just him defending the championship, right? Maybe him winning the next streak. I don't think it's been just about the story for Cody all year long, because really he was in a holding pattern and not doing a whole lot up until we got to close to Mania, right?
Yeah.
And I think it, again, going back to with Roman Reigns, as you said, it felt like he wasn't needed as a lot of these shows. He is getting to that point because right now, his version of Bloodline, we gotta admit it. I know everyone's Roman Reigns fans now. I am too. I'm not sure I had him on my ranking at my top guys, but this version of Roman Reigns and Bloodline is stale. It needs to shake up. It needs something different.
Same without The Rock, right?
Well, again, taking The Rock out, because I think that they're going to collide at some point in time, right? But we don't know when they're going to tell that story, when they're going to pick it up. It doesn't necessarily need to be for a championship, but let's say they're not picking up until sometime again this next year. That's a lot of time to go through Roman Reigns kind of still not being needed, not being on the shows, really going through the same version of the Bloodline to get to an eventual match with Brock. It's time to move things along and shake him up, shake that Bloodline up, shake the company up, right? Where would the company be when you actually have another champion, right? Because we've said it for a long time. Seth is doing a great job. He's a workhorse, but he's not necessarily the figurehead of the company that we expect him to be. It's time for the company to shake it up and put somebody else on top, see what they can do.
And not like we are trying to the three of us are thoroughly enjoying this Mania builds, right? So it's not like we're like, man, let's hurry up and just get through Mania so we can see what's next. But even when you say that, you are right, because I've said it a few months ago. I think when we get to WrestleMania, there's going to be a reset of the company, right? We're going to assume Cody's going to have the belt. We know Gunther's reign is coming to an end. We can debate, and we'll have our preview show next week if it's Sammy at Mania or do we wait to put it on Gable. But there is less days on his reign than it is more for Gunther. That's going to switch depending on what they do with
Seth,
the world title, right? That's going to switch, and then you get the influx of talent that we know are going to be massive hitters for him. Braun Breaker, Tiffany Stratton, Jade, who's going to be on SmackDown this Friday. Bianca's back in major storylines. Charlotte,
Mello finally getting pushed up too.
Yeah. Andrade, like, you look at that and you just go, this fucking train is not.
It's going to be exciting. That shakeup, whenever we get that shakeup, we know it's going to be exciting. Yeah,
no time soon.
Yep.
Rhodesia, you got anything else around I got one just kind of like now, like, backstage cool part that I just loved watching. You got anything else for the Cody and the Rock piece?
That was it.
When I was sitting there watching Cody just get destroyed by Rock.
Boy.
And he didn't throw a punch back. I was like, okay, damn, he at least give him something. But okay, oops. Hey, I get it.
Look at you now,
huh?
Huh?
How cool, though, is it for Cody? Cody has been on record saying his favorite wrestling match of all time is Hogan versus Rock at WrestleMania. Right? He's said that numerous times. For him to have thought 6 months ago, or hoping, hey, it's going to be me and Roman at Mania. And now he gets to go into a storyline, a feud, and then a tag match with The Rock and Roman Reigns the same weekend. That is just cool as hell. When I was watching, I was just like, this is cool. This is really, really cool.
I do want to take 2 people black cards away from them, though. Can I do that real quick? This is fitting. Uh-oh. So I'm taking Rock's black card away, and I'm taking Cody's black card away. Sorry, E. And it comes down to the end of that beat down. When Rock spit almost on him. First of all, black people don't spit on people. And number 2, Cody should have had his ancestral beings come out of him when he almost got spit at to attack The Rock. So I'm taking both of their black cards away because we just don't do spitting. We don't give their spitting.
What do you want me to do? Say like
we don't give the spitting.
A river?
We don't spit, and we don't get spit on. So Cody should have called on his ancestors and said, "Resurrect me."
That man was getting beat down by a super huge Rock, right? This man is like 6'8". He got at least be 450.
He
like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never. Man, he like Popeye a little bit.
He reminded me of Kingpin. Like, and Kingpin was like a fat guy. But you remember how just big Kingpin is?
Yeah.
Over people. That's why I was like, oh my God. And it was raining and it was nighttime. Oh my God.
Man, he was whooping that man's ass.
I wonder if there was an audible card and that beatdown was supposed to happen inside the building somewhere. And they saw the weather conditions. They were just like, no, this is like legit cinema. This is like a movie scene of the big bad guy just destroying the hero, leaving him laying in the rain at nighttime. I do wonder if that was a thing or not. Let's talk about the other hero that is big into Chicago, CM Punk. I tweeted it, and I really thought it, and I still think it, and I think Sean Sapp, of course, always shout out to them and Fightful for giving the correct news as often as any other journalist that's out there. But he said that today, I think he released it, or yesterday, whatever it was, that they had basically an outline. And they were kind of just, all right, here's our outline, go work. And you could feel it. You could feel it. You could see it. And I think my tweet was something to the fact of when you let pros be pros, 99.999, 2% of the time, magic's going to happen. And in my opinion, we saw magic. I would love to get both your guys' thoughts. Rhodesia, you and I kind of talked a little bit. We haven't talked about it at all. Because I did see some people on social media saying like, oh, this was a cluster. Like, what are we even doing here? I didn't take that. I took it as these are 3 professionals that do not have to have their hand held to go out there, be entertaining, throw jabs at each other, push them on the microphone, but still sell what we need to sell. We've seen times previously, and particularly in AEW, because we know they're nowhere near handcuffed when it comes to promos, where we will sit and watch a great promo segment because it was entertaining, but we're like, damn, that shit kind of fell off the rails because they didn't sell what they needed to sell. It was more of just trying to catch each other with one-liners or barbs or things of that nature. But you still walked away from that segment more excited to see Drew versus Seth, ecstatic to see when Punk gets back and where he falls in the line of pecking order of who he's going to take on first and et cetera, even calling out Roman. That Roman made a comment with him at Pat McAfee, and even I thought his comment was brilliant. Hey, when he's on his way down and I'm on the way up, we'll cross paths and I'll deal with him then. Perfect. Good enough. Don't need anything more, because then you start getting conspiracy theorists talking about, oh, now Punk's going to be the one who's going to cost Roman the match. Like, nope, just you said enough, because Punk's always got to bite back. But what you guys think about that promo segment?
I actually had a question I wanted to ask y'all about that, but to address how I felt about it, I love to see just veterans be who they are and be comfortable in who they are. You mentioned people said that was a bit of a cluster. Okay, I could probably see that. But to me, that authenticness of them, again, still trying to be professional, but going at each other and pulling, just like I remember last time I've seen this kind of was with Miz, and like just seeing him pull stuff out of people just to see what they have and see if you can go toe to toe with me. I love that. Because again, I mean, that's engaging for me. I can either say, oh, that fell flat. And if it does fall flat, kind of like what we talked about with Mercedes' second announcement or promo, it was a little flat, but I'm okay with it because it's from the soul, it's from the heart. Yep. It's them being their character and they're trying to either sink or swim. And then so to my question that I was going to ask y'all to, and it's perfect time and fitting, should WWE go away from the scripted promo? I know those three guys are veterans, so they've been doing this minimum 10 years each. I get that. But shouldn't an artist, a wrestler, be able to sink or swim on their own? Like, how would we, especially since most of them went through NXT, so they went through those classes and the coaching and all that stuff. Shouldn't there be a time where you just say, go out there, here's your outline, figure it out?
I think we kind of get that, to be honest with you. I think that most artists go out there, they already have like a guideline of things of what they're going to say. Right? They have they might react differently based on the things that they hear, but they have a kind of like a guideline in their mind about what they want to do, what they want to accomplish when they're out there. And we've heard countless times that a lot of the like Miz, for instance, can kind of go out there free reign. I think Vince gave them. I think they have like an agenda and points they want to get across, but they kind of can flow and put it as their own. I probably believe CM Punk that's his voice. I think a lot of guys are able to express themselves in the way they want to, in the way they see their characters. And I think we saw that on live display. But there's other people who probably need like a writer, right? I mean, I don't know Mercedes specifically, but I know we have the writer that she worked closely with in WWE working with her in AEW. So she might be somebody that might need somebody to kind of help her fill in the blanks, right? But she has a guideline and things that she wants to get across, but she needs somebody else to kind of help her form the words. I don't know if that's the case for her, but I do know that a lot of the great acts have the freedom to kind of go out there and express themselves in a way that they see fit.
I think this is a two-part question, because you have the corporate answer, which is publicly traded company, billion-dollar company. We have to know what's being said in our television show. You have that part. Because even in Sean's report, Punk, remember he said a cuss word. So I don't know if he said shit or whatever he said.
Yeah.
And the report was WWE did not know he was going to say that line, so they weren't prepared for it, but it's no heat on him. So I think that's what you have to worry about from a corporate perspective. If we give everybody this bullet point and say, all right, E, you got 5 minutes out there, man, just the line we just need you to hit is, and I will take your title at Backlash. Go sell it for 5 minutes. And E goes out there on a tangent and starts cussing or saying stuff that's not PC anymore. And now you got issues. You run into that.
And also, it's a PG rating too, right? They can't.
And that's the other thing that I thought was really interesting. And maybe he was just going off the cuff. But for Punk to say we're not on Netflix yet,
I thought that was interesting.
Hey, so once again, is he just assuming, all right, when we go on Netflix, we won't be as constrained? Or do they know that, all right, when we go on Netflix, we will be a little bit edgier? No, we're not going to go crazy. It's not going to be TVMA, but we will be able to kind of say some things that we haven't been able to say before. Still in the proper text of, we got a business to run and there's still kids here. But when it's time to do blood, right? When it's time to don't fuck with the final boss, but maybe don't be on the final boss's shit list. Maybe we can get that through and we don't have to bleep it. So I think that's going to be interesting too. But I think overall, I would love for it to get to a point where the majority of the talent, hey, what do you want, talent? Do you want bullet points or do you want a complete script? And then let them go out there, because everybody's just not meant to. I think everybody in WWE and AEW can go out there and cut a 30-second to 45-second promo in the back with a backstage, host. I think they all can do that.
Not everybody. Tell them, damn it.
Who don't you think can do a 30-second promo?
The people who ain't doing it now?
That's nuts. I think everybody can do 30 seconds. But now if you're talking about 5-10 minutes, in some of these promo segments, 15 minutes, no, it takes a certain level of talent to be able to go out and do that. So my answer is, though, but I'm all for no scripts. Because to your point, Rhodesia, we're deep enough into this game that we all love that if they bomb, we're good with them bombing. Well, yeah, we're going to talk about it. But is the majority of fans good with their favorite person bombing? I don't know.
But I think that just even in life, and we even talked about this with, what's her name from Alpha Academy? You kind of just Maxine Dupree. You grow from it. You grow from the mistakes. When you fail, you get back up. So to me, I understand the whole corporate side of things. You have to make sure that everything is PC correct that way. Mm-hmm. Got it. But outside of that, let's take that part out of it. I like when people can go out there. Here's your bullet points. You have 45 seconds. Figure it out. Like you said, you're going to end with, I'm going to take that title from you. So if you have to say that 10 times in that 45 seconds because you can't figure out something else to say, then that next time that you hope you get an opportunity, you only going to say it one time instead of the 10 times. So I like that. I think that you just, when you go out there, you're forced to perform, you're either going to swim or you're going to sink. And hopefully if you sink and you are professionals, these people are professionals, that they will figure it out. But I like the idea is, hey, are you a person who wants the script? Some people might just want a script. And some people would be like, nope, I'm a natural salesperson. I'll go out there and do it myself.
Who won that segment? If you had to pick a winner of Seth, Drew, and Punk, who do you have winning and why?
Oh, man. Let's go with Punk. Yo. And the why? Because you're talking about all the nasty things he's going to do to his wife.
You just pop for yourself?
Yeah, I did.
That's crazy. You said because what? Because he was talking about that oral sex?
Yeah, because he's talking about
is that all?
His
that's
wife.
All you heard?
That's
Did
it.
you hear anything else after that?
Maybe not. I don't know. I heard about the chosen one, and then you had to smarten me up on what that chosen one line was about again,
which is fantastic. And I even saw people trying to hate on that, like, shut the fuck up. Like, let these guys go out and have fun. Like, that is not hurting anybody. And by some chance, if you don't know, when he made the comment about this chosen one, that was Drew's gimmick from Vince McMahon, he was the chosen one.
Yeah,
so that's why
pagan of virtue.
Who was it?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Who called you that? Who called you that?
It's like three little baby kids. But I love, okay, you know what? Punk won because wholeheartedly, because even when he said to Seth, we used to see eye to eye until you came out here with high heels on. Dude. All right, Punk, I got you.
Yeah, it definitely was Punk. Punk had all the one-liners, right? He been sitting at home injured. He had it. He was loading up, right?
That pen was hot. He
was loading up. He was ready to get him, like, right? And like I said, for me, like the Vince, I would say I was surprised by it, but you know, he's like, what pagan of virtue gave you that, right? Say his name, right? Like, right? Like, man, like, so like this dude's in hot water and he's alluding to him on the show. Like, oh, like this dude, this is pipe bomb. This is the Punk that we used to get back in the day, this version. Like, right. And like, so when we talk about what did I feel like Punk was missing this entire time? It was this version of Punk. This is the version that we used to get back in the day before he went away for like 8 years or whatever it was. Drew still, held his own.
Talk about it.
Right.
Talk about it.
But I like that he had, little lines in between, right? Because sometimes you're like, like Punk is his own one, right? So he letting them have it, right? So when he went in for some air, that's when Drew throw something in there, right? Of course, for me, it's always I feel like this is why you guys ask me, was it a missed opportunity if this man wrestled Roman Reigns ever again? I don't care if he ever wrestles anybody again, to be honest with you. Like he comes out there and like he's like an easy target. Like he's like an easy target. Like
you don't think Seth held his own, huh?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. See, I thought Seth was the one that actually brought the WrestleMania match and story together. Like,
yeah,
I mean that's what he was there for. But he still pointed to the obvious that look, you like you a clown show, clown shoe Steph, man. Like you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, I get it because you know what? Because when I think about Seth, right? Because like I want to like Seth. I don't know what specifically it is about me that's connected. Because like I don't mind the personality, the close guy. I kind of get it. You know, you think about it. Think about the Macho Man back in the day. Like that's before your time. Seriously, Rhodesia.
Bingo.
But
Bingo.
think about the Macho Man. Like no, surreal. I don't think you were even alive. Think about the early '90s version of like Macho Man. Like when he came out there and he wore everything was this bright color spandex, and he had these high heel boots on, and he had these flamboyant hats, and he had the glasses with the. And I don't know as a kid how he even saw those glasses, right? Because it looked like it was painted over. Like I don't know I don't get how he actually saw them. I'm very interested in that, but that's what Seth's going for. Like right, those big over the top, huge personality characters from back in the late '90s and early '80s. Like, that was Macho Man all day long. Like, right? And he was popular. He was doing this thing. So I get what he's trying to do and accomplish it. He doesn't really do that bad of a job trying to get there. But for me, it just doesn't connect. So when I see him, it's like,
No, you know what, man? I think Seth is great. He is. I just like serious Seth better. I do. That's all. Like, if you could say, but now you can't be serious, of course, 52 weeks out of here either. That doesn't work. You got to have levity and all that. So he has layers. I just wish we understood, like, why are you laughing? I wish that was told to us, right? Like, why are you laughing? Why do you do some of the outlandish things? But when it's time to get serious, I need you to get serious. And not saying that every feud needs him to be able to hit that switch and get serious, because when he does, though, he's fantastic. I thought he was really good last night. Now, yeah, I probably have him third.
Yeah.
But that's more because of we've been waiting for Punk and Drew to talk since Punk went and had surgery. And what I loved about it, so I go back to pros being pros, right? That could have easily went wrong because they could have stepped on each other. They stepped on each other a couple times, but not to where it was, oh man, when they get to the back, either the producers are going to talk to them or they're going to have a conversation. No, it was more of Punk being the pro of, well, I'm Punk. This is my home. I got to get you. Right? I can just imagine that conversation. Yeah, I can imagine that conversation before they get out there is, hey, look, you know what I got to do? You know what I'm known for? To your point, I got to get you. I'm going to give you your space, though. Because if you go back and watch that promo, Punk would say something. He would give Drew a few lines. But if Drew didn't connect on those few lines, he jumped on the top of his head. Right? There's sometimes we would see when a little bit of real life shows up in the promo battles and they step on each other and they don't even let you get a word out. You start a line and they're on your head. So no, like Punk was cutting them off at every turn, but he was still letting them drive to that corner. And if you didn't get that line off, that's on you. But Drew did a great job. Drew had the line around, you don't do drugs, you don't do alcohol, but you're always in rehab. Fantastic line. Sitting on, like, it was really, I thought it was fantastic. I really, really did. I got a kick out of it. So now what? So we have Punk on commentary on night 2. Does Punk get involved in the match at all?
It's all chaos. I'm telling you, it's all chaos. All chaos. He might be the referee. He showed you he can count to 3 with his good arm.
He can do. Oh, and then he had a backstage interview with Kathy, and he tells her that I can do everything with my left hand, Kathy. I mean everything. I was like, damn, Punk.
Feeling good. I like to see him get physically involved in the match in some type of way.
I thought you were about to say something totally different. You said, I want to see
that time
it
was there, right? I him use his left hand. Like, damn, man, what we talking about right now, man? Bring it up, like, bring it down.
Whoa!
Pause.
For sure.
Like, I keep the conversation flowing with the wrestling. I let y'all with the after show stuff.
Thanks, appreciate it. Somebody else who got super physically active, Ricochet. Shout out to Ricochet. Thank you, producers. Thank you, Triple H. No, we don't need super high spot matches every single week, but when you let that man go out and do what he can do, you see what happens. And I thought, like, I think you may have sent some to the group text. I didn't get a chance to read it. I'm kind of behind on text messages, but you sent something surrounding somebody making a comment about what was this Raw show just like a Dynamite show, or that's why it was so good, or something to that effect.
Oh yeah, I did. Let me pull it up real quick.
I missed that match. So you telling me it was a high flying match? One of my matches I love.
Fantastic. Him and JD killed, and you know JD is arguably the best seller in WWE.
Yeah, that's the way I put him out there. I'm not going to read who said it, but it says the bar so low for WWE that a very good episode is touted as best ever. And the same token, an average episode of AEW is touted as terrible because the bar for AEW is set so high.
Well, that's tribalism. So, should we even entertain that conversation?
Well, I mean, we don't have to go into the tribalistic part, but let's flip the question to this. Rhodesia, how much would you say that was easily one of the better shows you've seen in a very, 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 very long time?
Yes, but I didn't watch the show from beginning to end. But what I did watch, absolutely.
Okay, and you already said like you were locked in, 3 hours went by, you were like, damn, that was quick. So we all know, Larry, there was something special that was happening. So let's just take it off of that. So we don't even have to compare it to how do you compare it to a Dynamite? Let's just take it to what that show was on Raw. The reason why it was so good is because we don't get the things we got. Not that we don't typically get good shows, because WWE is very good right now. But you don't get the blood. Mm-hmm. You don't get the cursing. You don't get Ricochet doing Ricochet things every single week. You don't get the non-scripted to that level promos every single week. Not to say that there's something wrong if you got it every week, but it wouldn't be special, right? Like imagine if in the women's match that was 90 seconds, if it was anything to complain about, it was that women's didn't have a lot of time in the ring, but we had a great segment with Becky and Rhea, which they didn't make it part of the story. With Becky out there getting her back kicked in every single week and Rhea chilling out, just working house shows, showing that booty off. Mm-hmm. So they didn't make it part of the story, which I'm glad they did. But imagine if in that match, we saw one of the girls just bleed. Okay, so then when Cody bleeds, it doesn't have the same impact. That's the difference. Once again, not making this a tribalistic thing, but it should mean something when it happens. So when you hear Rock say, you fuck with the final boss, or we see the blood, okay, it means something because we don't get it. The difference is, I think there is times where potentially AEW uses it as a crutch. If we
just
get
like
3 matches in, yeah,
yep,
if we get, remember, and they've done a much better job, but it was at a point where it was like, if you cut in a promo, you saying bitch. Mm-hmm. At one point, and they really cut that back, it was shit, I think. I'm glad they cut that back. But yeah, if you got 6 matches on the card and 3 of them have blood, it loses impact. That's why I think everybody loved the show so much, because the things that were done was done with impact.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like I know I've had criticism on AEW, but I think that they put on really good wrestling shows more often than not. And I think I specifically said that exclusively for a number of months. They put on really good wrestling shows. For my thing with AEW is that I think there's so much potential to be more.
That's what it is. That's
the thing. So when we talk about, like, you know, I always ask you guys, like when they had the Mercedes show, and I was like, hey, is this a strong card, right? When you got Willow and Riho in the main event. Now, and you guys are like, well, it's not. And I was like, well, if you're into wrestling shows, it is. But I'm talking about like a show packed to bottom, because they're going to have people who've never seen this show watching. They have the opportunity, and we saw it the week after, where they can put on this a great show from top to bottom with stars that matter. Like, right? And I felt like that was the episode to do that. But on the flip side, talk about WWE back in the day, right? When we had Vince McMahon making those horrible shows, right? And I know, Matt, you mentioned like, hey, you know, AEW has $1 billion coming pretty soon.
Yep.
Like, right? Well, somebody gave Vince $1 billion back in 2017 or whenever it was, right? And he was putting out straight trash. And I knew from that moment that show was only going to get worse. Like Vince has his vision. He's getting paid for his vision. Nothing's going to change, right? But with AEW, there's so much potential for that show to be even better than it is. I believe in Tony Khan. I think he's making necessary changes. I believe in the roster they have. They have great, excellent talent. So for me, it's not about the expectations are too high. I just expect them to be more than what I'm seeing because there's potential for it to be more. On the flip side, like I said, with WWE back in the day when Vince was doing his thing, that was a shit show. It was nothing helping that show at all.
You would get 2 segments that was good, and you got to ride those 2 segments. So that would be the difference. You were on AEW. I was going to talk about the Mount Rushmore and then do our new Mount Rushmore. And thanks, shout out for everybody who voted and left their Mount Rushmores. We'll go over that. But I do. You talked about don't get mad, Rhodesia. Don't get mad. You talked about AEW. I do want to ask you guys. So Tony Khan tweeted out tonight on Dynamite, there's going to be a 4-way match. Winner gets a TBS championship shot at AEW Dynasty. These 4 women are Chris Stanlander, Sky Blue, Anna Jay, Willow Nightingale with Mercedes on commentary. My only question, we can take it wherever you want to take it, but my only question that I had when I saw this, and this is not the main, to your point, E, on Sunday's pod title, it's the TBS title, but are you surprised Mercedes is not involved?
She is involved. She's on commentary
in the match.
So the question was, are we surprised? No, because to me, I think she is involved on commentary. So I'm not surprised.
You mean not actually wrestling for the match?
Like, would we have thought? Once again, we don't know what the main title looks like, but would we have thought her involvement would have been on commentary and not in the match? That's all. That's all I'm asking, I guess.
Is she cleared? She ready to go?
Yeah. That's the word.
Well, if she's in the match, right, she will be expected to win, right? Because if she doesn't win, then, that's her first match. What are we doing?
Right.
So for me, for her not being in the match, it's just her being the next challenger isn't the next part of that story. Maybe it's her against the challenger or something that regards. I didn't think too much about it. I just assumed I'd rather her not be in the match. She's not going to win it. So obviously she's not going to win. But they are trying to put more focus on that actual division. Right. And they are. Right. I think I'm more interested in what's going on in that women's division than I ever have. So I'm still in a wait and see pattern with them, see where it goes.
And I think that's where I'm at. I'm kind of just like, okay, when I saw that graphic, when I first saw the graphic, there's just the 5 women on it. I'm like, oh shit, like we're getting some type of fatal 5-way. And then I read his, text on it. I was like, oh, okay, she's only on commentary. And my first thought was, okay, that's interesting. And then my second thought was, all right, well, maybe she's going to be involved in the women's world title. And then I went back to this match and said, or maybe Willow wins. She wins the championship at Dynasty, and then we get Willow and Mercedes for the title. I said next pay-per-view. So it should be good.
I could see that. To me, though, I would be more surprised if she was in this match and not going for the Toni Storm or for the women's title. Granted, the story is not there right now, but I just personally, the biggest name, the biggest free agent coming for a secondary belt, I'd probably be more surprised about that. But Toni the story Storm, is there with Willow.
I only want a Mariah May Toni Storm feud where, that's what are we doing? Right, that to me, that is
she's still in her gimmicks and everything.
Yeah, it should be, but we'll see how it plays out. Our guy Wole sent us a message. We were talking back and forth on X earlier. He said something. I was like, oh, we're gonna talk about this on the pod. So he basically said that he's not the highest on Swerve, and he said he feels like Samoa Joe should keep the title at Dynasty, and I kind of said, well. We talking about Ospreay, whatever. But he had a question for us. He said, do you think Swerve can take his act to WWE and make it a main event level? And I said, that is a perfect question for the podcast. What do you guys thought?
There's nothing about Swerve that would make him completely X-rated. We have Triple H there that, from what we hear, is open to hearing people's ideas, especially when it comes to their character development. Why not? Now, Swerve has the confidence that, hey, I left this company. I became bigger, twice as big as I ever was there. I have a following. I have equity built in myself. Why not? Now, MJF is different because MJF is going to have to tone himself down if he comes to WWE. But for Swerve, I don't think there's anything about his gimmick that where I would say is not appropriate for wrestling in WWE.
Yeah, I definitely think Swerve would translate. But, listening to quite a few of his interviews, that he's good with where he's at. And he's actually said quite a few, like he ain't interested in going back to WWE. Mm-hmm. He's one of those guys that are like, man, look, y'all let me go.
Yep.
I'm here. I'm doing my thing. And I'm trying to be the first black AEW champion. So if he were to go back to WWE at any point, it had to be a straight up, business thing for him. Like they gotta be willing to pay him to go. Because it seems like he has like a little sour taste in his mouth about being released, and I think he felt like he had to fight to get his spot over there. A little too hard versus other people within the company. So, I mean, I actually was surprised. Wole said that actually, to be honest with you, because I think, man, look, when we talk about, I know we got Will Ospreay, coming up, and he's doing a damn good job, better than I thought, actually, from a promo perspective, bruv. Bruv. But I think that, look, Swerve in the ring, his style is so unique.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, I don't see anybody that wrestles like Swerve. I think his character is on point. I feel like he's the next guy. I don't care who they got up there. He's the next guy. He can create his own audience, his own connection with the crowd. He started really because they didn't really give him a lot, right? He made every opportunity to get to where he is. Whereas, Will is kind of already given the spot. He's been given the money and the position. Like Swerve been over there, hustling, doing his thing for quite some time. I feel like it's his spot to lose.
I think to answer Wole's question for me, do you think Swerve can take his act to WWE and make it main event level? And my answer is not right now as constructed. It is more of the landscape of WWE of outside of Swerve. Because I'm looking at, the act that we're seeing now in AEW, can that translate to WWE? Yes. Can it translate to a main event star? Not right now. And the reason why I say that is, and I just want to look at this, and so just I'm about to go down the list. Roman Reigns. He wouldn't be better than or higher. Not better, higher than Roman Reigns. Wouldn't be higher than Seth Rollins. Wouldn't be higher than Gunther. Wouldn't be higher than CM Punk. Wouldn't be higher than Cody Rhodes. Would not be higher than LA Knight. Would not be higher than Drew McIntyre. Sami Zayn, you can argue. Kevin Owens, you can argue.
Ooh, you got him real low.
I don't think he would be higher than Braun Breaker.
Ooh.
Next year. I don't.
Damn. So you ain't high on him either, huh?
No, I am. I'm very high on him. I just think he's where he should be. That's all. I think he's where he should be.
So we talking about Sammy, KO. Those guys aren't debatable. Main event
I don't
guys.
That's debatable. For me, Swerve would be over them. But that's debatable. I don't know if he would be in the WWE pecking order is what I'm talking about.
And you think about Roman Reigns, right? Like, he's only a part-time guy, so I don't think he has to fight him for a spot. Like, Roman is his own thing. He's his own entity. He comes and kind of goes. I think Gunther is something that you can kind of fight for because, like, you think about, and the LA Knight as well. Think about, like, the main event heels that they have over there. Like, right? Mm-hmm. They don't, outside of Gunther, like, and Drew, who's next?
Outside of Gunther and Drew, who's next? Punk. Well, I mean, Seth ain't going nowhere. Cody ain't going nowhere.
Baby.
Day.
But they don't have a main event heel. Their main eventer is Rhea.
But they're heels. They're top heels.
Yeah, they're heels.
Their presence is always there.
And I still think they can heat
up.
But
when I this specifically, Rhodesia, I'm talking about like somebody who can vie for like the world championship or the heavyweight division.
I think Damian could if they heated him properly. I just don't think he's heated up to be
right
taken
now.
serious.
He's not.
As,
but I really wish he would have been the next one.
He's a tag team guy. He was a tag team guy like half of the year with Finn. I think if they really put a concerted effort of saying, all right, Damian, we're going to make you into the next Monster Heel, he absolutely could do it and flourish in that role. He's not pegged in. Hell, look what he did with, if he could pull that off with Bad Bunny, a feud with a guy who was not a worker like that and did what they did for those couple months. I'm high on him. If they wanted him in that role, I just don't think they need him in that role.
He's had that briefcase for a long ass time now. I feel like it's been longer than a year.
It's time to do something with it. It's time to do something with it, man. Mount Rushmore, Rhodesia, you upset, but guess what? You came in third place, baby cakes. But it's not about that because this was all just, it wasn't right or wrong. But we had a lot of really,
it was wrong
really,
because
really
again, you did not put my list up there, but we can continue because I'm not about to go there.
You really think, no, this is serious. Do you really think if I would have put on there WrestleMania 40?
Some people will pop.
Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes.
I'd have got a couple, possibly, because that was a pop. But, all right. That's crazy. I'm gonna vote for that. That's how people on the Twitter does anyway.
For anybody who does not know, we did on last Sunday's pod or this past Sunday, we did our Mount Rushmore of WrestleMania main events. Right, and the category had to be, it was the last match on the card. We're going to do after we go over some of our fine listeners and Twitter followers, some of their information will give us like just our top 4 of all time. But this one was main event. And the poll was Rhodesia was at 27%, he was at 31%, I was at 42%. Everybody's list was great. Like when you're talking main event, WrestleManias, nobody's list can be bad. We've got some really, really good lists here. Let me start with Rich. He said on his list, his 4, Rock and Austin, WrestleMania 17. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Chris Benoit, WrestleMania 20, Triple Threat. Taker and Michaels, Mania 26. And then Roman, Brock, and Seth cash in at WrestleMania 31. Dwayne said Rock and Austin. Of course, Rock Cena, Sasha Banks versus Bianca, and Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. It's a really good one. Also, and then the ones from X. Let me pull these bad boys up.
You said, okay.
You thought something about Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
No. Because I think you're about to bring it up now.
Let's see here. Who we got? Let me pull this thing up. A lot of people were just talking about the list. SCW, the wrestling channel. Shout out to those guys. He said, if I had to pick 4, Stone Cold versus The Rock, WrestleMania 17. Only reason why I didn't have that one on there was because that was the match where Vince aligned himself with Austin. But John Cena versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 23, which was in Detroit. We were there for that one. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 26, and Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, WrestleMania 37. So we've already heard that one twice already, which is really, really cool. Our guy Jay Dixon has Taker, Shawn, WrestleMania 26, the Triple Threat at WrestleMania 30. He had Bianca and Sasha that Saturday at WrestleMania 37, and then he has Roman and Cody from last year. So that's another fire list. What else? Ryan from the Parallax Effect. He said no particular order. I think, and Ryan cheated too. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. You know how Ryan get. It's probably like 8 on here. So he has Undertaker versus Shawn, WrestleMania 26. So that one's on here consistently for everybody. Triple Threat again for WrestleMania 30, which was Orton, Batista, and Daniel Bryan. Sasha Banks versus Bianca. So that's another one that's consistently on here. And then the Iron Man match. Of course, he threw Bret and Shawn on there from WrestleMania 12. Casamigos Poppy, what's up, man? He has Taker versus Shawn Michaels, HBK versus Bret Hart, Hogan versus Andre, and Taker versus Edge. So, Rhodesia, you guys had that one in common. Our guy Brandon James has Hogan Hogan and Savage, WrestleMania 5. Rock Austin, 17. Taker, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 26. And then the Triple Threat from 30. Daniel Bryan, Batista, and Randy Orton. So definitely kind of similar. Very, very similar. Hopefully I got everybody. If I did not, I'll go back through and we'll go over it on Sunday. But thanks for everybody who voted and who gave theirs. But it's interesting because, I mean, when you're talking like, once again, like Mount Rushmore, there is no wrong answer. right? Like, it ain't like you're talking Headbangers versus Atom Bomb, and
when you don't give the right answer. But it's okay.
Dang, well, like I said, you should be happy with your 26%.
It was 27%.
Okay,
so
perfect timing. Rhea was on Logan Paul's podcast, and she actually gave her Mount Rushmore for female WWE stars, and hers was herself, Bianca, Becky, and Charlotte.
Nice.
Yep, I think that's a pretty good Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
All right, let's go over now our Mount Rushmore of all WrestleMania matches total. Okay?
Mm.
We can do it the same way we did before. Rhodesia, you can start with one. I don't have mine in any particular order.
I have mine in order.
Just ain't no way.
Like I had my last match, my last Mount Rushmore in order.
You bring up WrestleMania 41. Some problems, man.
But that hasn't really happened really at all. All
right, so what's your first one?
So I graded my Mount Rushmore based off of, truthfully, how I felt and how memorable it is for me. Mm-hmm. So as far as like, I can't remember how good the match was worked. That kind of, I can't remember that. I don't have a brain like elephant like you do when it comes to that. But just my feeling. And
so we're going off of just, this is your personal, this is not, I'm looking at work rate.
Not man, at all.
It's not a 4.5 star match. Not putting,
cool. Nope. This is not what they call them, the Meltzer 5-star matches. Nope. This is just purely my Mount Rushmore of WrestleMania matches. It impacted me and I will always remember it. My number 4, and you told me that I would feel this way later in life, but I didn't believe you. But it was WrestleMania 30. It was Undertaker versus Brock when the streak ended. That was my number 4.
Really good one. A, what you got?
No order. I got Bret versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Mania 13.
That
was the first one I have on here. Not it's my first or my fourth. That is the first one I have on here. Yes. I watched that match maybe more than any other match outside of Hogan Warrior, Hogan Andre, and there's another match on my list that I have not said yet. Out of all wrestling matches of all time. Wow. I know that match like the back of my hand. I know the spots. I know, like, if I can watch it and you pause it and say, what's the next move happen? I can tell you.
Oh,
so it was cool to play that because that match is also on the showcase on 2K. But that is...
That finish with that the visual of the Crimson Mask on Stone Cold, him passing out. Really good match, man. Really good match. It was career defining too, right? Especially for Stone Cold. That's kind of what propelled him into superstardom.
That match was so important to me. If you came over my house, you had to watch that match. I don't care who you were. Legit, I had it on tape, and it didn't matter who you were. If you was one of my parents' friends or whoever, you got to watch this. And kid you not, everybody that I showed that match to couldn't stop watching. It was. That's a classic. That is the hell with your 5 stars. I don't know what the hell they got. To me, that match may not ever be topped. I think that highly of that match.
You haven't said it yet. This match we're talking about?
No. Austin versus Bret.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
Because it was also the best double turn in the history of wrestling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So incredible. All right, Rhodesia, what's number 3? Or I guess your second one, however you want to look at
it. Believe it or not, it was WrestleMania 39. It was not the main event, so don't look at me like that.
So you have 3 from 39 that you're calling out, kind of. Okay.
And again, back to I knew that this was gonna go. Knew the match was gonna go. I did not think it was gonna go this well, considering how much expectations I have for every other matches on night 1 and night 2. But it was a triple threat.
Okay, stop. Hold on a second. What night was this on? I'm gonna see if I can figure it out. It was night 1?
Mm-hmm. At least that's what my memory tells me. I can confirm.
Oh, I know what it is.
I said it already, though.
I didn't hear you.
What is it?
The IC match.
It sure was. The triple threat, Drew, Sheamus, and Gunther. That match, and I knew it was gonna go, but I just didn't think it was gonna go like that. And that was a 5-star match for me, for those 3 heavy hitters. And I had high expectations for all the other matches too, and for that to be like, that stole the show.
Damn, that's crazy that hits your Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
Wow.
Especially considering you don't like triple threats.
Yep. Exactly. And that's what I said back then too. And it was something about that match between the three of them. I think they did it really well.
That's what it was. The match was ridiculous.
Because I think Gunther was out for quite a while. Oh, see, look, maybe I do have a little elephant memory. And I remember Drew and Sheamus was just going back and forth with each other for a minute. And like they had their kind of stare down one-on-one. And I'm like, yes, give me that. Chop after chop. And then, so there we go. I had an honorable mention that went next to that too, but we'll do that later.
You can't have an honorable mention to the end. I do have one honorable mention.
I have an honorable mention.
But yeah. E, what you got?
My next one, this is, like I said, Rhodesia wouldn't have been boring back then.
Bingo.
This was
Bingo.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage, WrestleMania 3.
That was on my, man, I couldn't fit it on there. But if we went, if to your point, Mount Rushmore was 5 heads, that's on there.
Great match, especially for a time period, man. Like fast pace. Like I was a big Ricky Dragon Steamboat guy back in the day, man. Like it was Hogan and Steamboat wasn't that further down. Like I told you, I was into karate back then. And him come out there with the gi, and then Macho Man was just such a hot heel, you know what I'm saying, with Miss Elizabeth, and it was a really great match. One of the best matches of all time.
My next one is Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. I had WrestleMania 26 on my main event Mount Rushmore, and WrestleMania 25's match was actually even better than WrestleMania 26's match. If you guys don't know, the WrestleMania 25 match is when Taker hits Shawn with the tombstone and does his tongue and rolls his eyes out. Shawn kicks out, which nobody has ever kicked out of that. And Taker has that look on his face like, what just happened? And the crowd just erupts. Getting the goosebumps right now thinking about it. That was that match. So that's up there for me. Rhodesia, your third one.
I'm gonna just plug you right here. I was gonna mention it after the Mount Rushmore. When you talk about back in the day, he reminds me of like the old jock in high school as a grown man, like as a grandpa now. Well, and all they could do is talk about
all he talked about was his high school days.
These matches are 30 years old, 35 plus years ago. Okay, anyways. This one, the match quality to my memory wasn't that good, but I don't remember. But it was just a culmination of everything. The 2 matches and then the 2 matches. But it was actual WrestleMania 28. It was a Hell in a Cell with Triple H and Undertaker with Shawn Michaels as the guest referee. And it was the end of the era. I remember being there live and I remember them walking off and I remember just how I felt. Kind of almost cried, almost cried when Undertaker put his boots in the ring at the end of, was that 32 or something. But I remember that and I'm like, wow, that was history.
Honestly, I don't know if I even actually saw that match. I actually might have left when that match came on.
Got to go back and watch that one.
No, I don't.
That one.
No, I don't.
Because there's 2 Shawn Michaels and there was 2 Triple H's matches. This was the end of the era. It was just everything came to an end.
That's actually on my list too.
I think I was happy that it was the end of the era because I thought Undertaker and Triple H were just the shits. But for me, my next match, speaking of Shawn Michaels, was the ladder match with Razor Ramon.
So let me ask you guys. I see we only got 1 match left on everybody's list. And none of these matches you had on your first list.
No.
Was that on purpose, or are you guys saying that this list, so like WrestleMania 10 ladder match, Shawn and Razor Ramon, you had that better than every WrestleMania main event that you named off on Sunday?
Yeah, we were going off main events before. Yeah, I would say some of these matches were, yeah.
Okay, absolutely. So, because like for me, this list, I would put up against all the main events I named. Because like for instance, if I felt John Cena versus The Rock, which I think we all had on from 28, was a Mount Rushmore main event or Mount Rushmore WrestleMania match, it would have been on this list. But
okay, so then to what you were saying, no, I think this one right here was easier for me to do. Like I said, versus last time it was harder for me to do because of the main event caveat. Mm-hmm. I would put the once in a lifetime in place of the triple threat if I had to. But so far, I would have kept everything that I have right now tonight.
All right.
Look, I definitely and at the time I enjoyed the ladder match more than the Iron Man match with Bret. And it's funny. I rewatched the ladder match years later. It didn't hold up like I thought it would for me, but the spots at the time were like, the moonsault, the ladder, and that kind of stuff was like,
off the ladder was just like, yo,
yeah,